Hello, Robs. We're back with new book Arrivals, number 230. A small haul, even though to most people's standards, this would be a large one, but this is usually what I get at one store every week. So it's been failing me lately. Violin by Anne Rice, just a simple mass market paperback. Got for 70 cents at the Veterans or Volunteers of America thrift store. Don't know what year this is from. Assume it's 90s. '97. Don't know if this is one of the vampire books that she wrote, but absorbing novel that takes the reader on a suspenseful journey through the time, place, and mind. Blah, blah. New Orleans. Don't know if there are any vampires in there. I guess she didn't always heard of vampires, but Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I was just reorganizing my books the other day, and both Robert Louis Stevenson and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. What's the book? Oh, Dr. Jekyll. I reorganized them and put them together in my paranormal monsters collection. And this is another, probably the 7th copy I have. All different editions, which is obviously not a first edition or anything like that, but it's a cool little Sasquatch looking Frankenstein. Hidden Worlds, Fresh Clues to the Past by M.H.J. I don't know what the TH means. The Vanderveer and P. Moorman. Another 80-cent book. This one I don't think. Where did I get this? Oh yeah, I paid $1 for this. Probably shouldn't have, but it was a cool little mass market paper. Back in good shape. This I paid 70 cents. I mean, actually I didn't pay for any of the books at the Veterans today or Volunteers because my mother was with me and she demanded to pay for everything. So I got free books. Not that that's why I purchased this, but I didn't know in advance she wanted to pay, but she decided she would pay, so I accepted. Somebody's grocery list. I'm really interested in this grocery list, honestly, but I can't get it to come out. And one-handing it. There we go. Ribs. Damn, $5.31 for some ribs. Chicken, $1.16 for chicken. Come on, 84 cents. Kool-Aid, soup, sugar, milk, $2.33. That's not very cheap. Oranges, 99. Kool-Aid, 84 cents. Soup, sugar, $1.88. I don't know. I haven't bought sugar in a long time, so I don't know. But ribs for $5.31. But then again, it could just be, a small package of short ribs, but $1.47 for tortilla chips, or is that actual tortillas? Either way, that's about half of what they cost now. Oh wait, what's this? Airdrop to clean out wax, paintbrush for Jose, kitty litter, bad gravel and grit. What's that say? Does that say Krug's? Flour tortillas, so there we go. C.S. Lewis, The Abolition of Man, How Education Develops Man's Sense of Morality. I believe I picked this one up at... Yeah, I did. I picked this up at Value World, which is another thrift store native to Michigan. I think it might be in Ohio as well, in other states, but for some reason, their paperbacks at this one location are 25 cents, which is the only reason why I go to it, because the rest of their books are generally 95 cents to $1.50. But I got this for $0.25, so could not pass that up. The Shroud of Turin. Where did I get this? Must have got it at the same place. Because I don't see a price. No. Did I get this at? Yeah, I did get this at Salvation Army for 50 cents. Ian Wilson. Is he the same guy that wrote that one book? I don't hear people crunching in the snow outside. The Legends of Veronica's Veil and the Holy Grail. Veronica. That's what it was called. Veronica. That's where the name came from. Spy Family, one by Tatsuya Endo. Another manga book that I picked up. My kid had no clue what this was, so I was just like, I'm getting it anyway. 25 cents. I believe I have other copies of. Oh, it's Shonen Jump. Is that related to Shonen Knife? Sounds like somebody's just driving down the street at 2 miles per hour and crunching the snow. Or am I just hearing things? The Castle of Otranto by Horace Walpole. Wobble. I've been looking for this book for quite a while, since it's considered the first Gothic book, and I actually was going to buy it, but I never did, and now I have found it for $1. It's in one of those cheap editions. But that's that. Remodeled, extended in the Gothic style over 2 decades. First published pseudonymously in 1764, The Castle of Otranto purported to be a translation of an Italian story of the time of the Crusades. In it, Walpole attempted, as he declared in the preface to the second edition, to blend the two kinds of romance, the ancient and the modern. He gives us a series of catastrophes, ghostly interventions, revelations of identity, and exciting contests, crammed with invention, entertainment, terror, and pathos. The novel was an immediate success and Walpole's own favorite among his numerous works. His friend, the poet Thomas Gray, wrote that he and his family, having read Otranto, were now afraid to go to bed o' nights. Does that mean on nights? Stephen King. Full dark, no stars. Schlock. Oh, look, it was an Ollie's $2.99 special, but I got it for 50 cents. Is he really reduced to being sold at Ollie's? Maybe that's trains outside, not cars crunching. Or maybe the army's coming down the street. Anyway, I don't really care what Stephen King books are about. I just collect them so other people can't have them at this point. Eamon Duffy, The Stripping of the Altars, Traditional Religion in England, 1400 to 1580. And you can imagine what that's about. Traditional religion. Something which I have no connection to, but the book seemed too good to pass up, even at $1. Also, when I got out of the library where I bought this, there was a student driver attempting to parallel park. Oh, I know what that sound is. It's wind blowing through my fireplace. Flue. Is that what it's called? The flue? Yeah, this guy was attempting to parallel park and was about this far from my bumper. So I go, Jesus Christ, and I hopped in and drove off with the books in my arms. I literally had 5 books or 6 books in my arms and drove off with the motherfucker in my hand because I didn't want to get hit. Not that my car is anything to write home about, but I just got a $53 oil change. So here's another book I got at that same library, Wiccan Beliefs and Practices by Gary Cantrell, with rituals for solitaries and covens. I may have this book, but I did not. It did not appear on my Libib when I scanned it. Manifestations of Karma, 11 lectures by Rudolf Steiner. Did I get this at? I think I got this at Salvation Army. 50 cent. 50 cent. Obviously, karma's bullshit, but it's an interesting concept. Don't believe in it, but it's an interesting concept, so I get it. I don't believe in Wiccan either, but The Greatest Mysteries of the Unexplained. This is another book I believe I have, but it did not show up on my Libib. And actually, it might have. No, I looked up that, but I got this at Volunteers of America. Oh, this sticker pulls right off. Cute. Cute. I would have scanned this, but I did the search function on Libib, which may be faulty. But this book seems familiar because it has Rasputin on the front. I believe that's Rasputin, right? Rasputin. Anyway, if I have it, then I didn't pay for it anyway. I got it for free. Thanks to me mother. So, it cost her 70 cents if I have it twice. This one I got at the Salvation Army. The Killer Book of Serial Killers. I may have this one too. I neglected to check. That was just like 50 cents. And I got it. Only 50 cents. It's in good shape. The Knife Man. Blood, Body Snatching, and the Birth of Modern Surgery by Wendy Moore. Who is this guy? Who was he? Frick was he? John Hunter. I mostly got it for the body snatching aspect, since I sought out many grave robbery stories, since one of the local pauper cemetery was raided quite frequently while the insane asylum was there by the University of Michigan, which this guy likely has no connection to. I'm not even sure where he's from. Did it say London? London. Don't know. A maverick surgeon who was as renowned and respected in George in England as he was feared and reviled. Yes, he was from England. Aldous Huxley, Time Must Have a Stop. And for some reason, when I looked in the classic section at the library where I purchased this for $1, I missed seeing it 3 or 4 times. And the third, that's why I always go back and check sections, especially when I'm having good finds. And I saw this. It was where Frankenstein was, and that's probably why I missed it the first time. Don't know what this is one of the few books of Huxley's that I don't have or haven't had and never read any of it. I've tried to read Brave New World and what's the other one? Ape in Essence, and a couple others, and they were just, great writing, but just fucking absolutely boring. So I gave up on them, bruv. Yeah, Huxley's one of the greatest writers, but a lot of times he's just boring. To me, at least. Make Me Rain, Poems and Prose by Nikki Giovanni. Never thought Nikki Giovanni was particularly good, but she was an early disciple of Ayn Rand before she went full-on Afro heritage, which is why I've always thought she was a weirdo. how the hell you come into, I guess maybe she was young and influenced by Ayn Rand before she went to her heritage. And she's had pretty trite poems. Some call it love. I am a flower, you can put me in your window. I don't need seed soil, only a bit of water, some sunshine. Every now and then, and a kiss. I may not grow, but I'll stick around and wave to you each morning. I mean, it's pretty bad. But I think after coming, she was one of the torchbearers of this sort of poetry. I know Lynn Lifshim was also somewhat in this vein. I guess it's blank verse. Whatever it is, it's not that great. War and National Reinvention. Japan in the Great War, 1914 to 19. This was one of the 5 books I got at the Salvation Army, where I saw a former co-worker who was not a very nice person. She was pretty good looking, but I think I inadvertently blocked her in her attempts to talk to another one of our co-workers. Because that's when she seemed first exasperated by me, that I was going to speak to him, and then while she was trying to. I think she was trying to deal him. But yeah, I didn't look this one up. Don't know if it has any value, but it's a pretty cool looking book. Harvard University. There's another one from the Volunteers of America before they raised their price to 70 cents for paperbacks. Good title. Silver. Why? My Own Tale, as written by me with a goodly amount of murder. A novel by Edward Chupak. Never heard of this guy, never seen this book. It's a pretty cool looking cover, though. I would have got it regardless. I don't think it's worth very much, though I did see one copy sell for $10. Doesn't seem to be a seller, but I don't know. Clever enough title. This one's an embarrassment, but I got it anyways. Heroine of the Titanic. The Real Unsinkable Molly Brown. Elaine Landau. I do have a very small collection of Titanic books, and I've passed on many more Titanic books, but recently I've decided, since I have 2 or 3, I probably should collect more, and here's one of them. Don't really have much interest in the movie or the subject at all, but there we go. A Conflict of Visions, Ideological Origins of Political Struggles by Thomas Sowell, author of Marxism. One of the best debaters I've ever seen. If you've never seen him, you will be surprised at any debate he gets in, because this guy, this dude has more statistics in his brain memorized than any human I've ever seen, except for maybe Jack Van Impe, who was a preacher who claimed to have memorized the entire Bible, verse by verse. But Sowell is a black guy and a libertarian. Now I think he's more Republican. He's got to be in his 90s. I think early to mid 90s. One of the better debaters I've ever seen. Roger Millington, Crossword Puzzles, Their History and Their Cult, which is an absurd book, but it's going to be one of the next reads I do on this channel. Mainly because I found a passage about Shakespeare where he just simply loathed crosswords. Or something that he called cross, C-R-O-S-S-E, space words. So maybe he wasn't speaking of the same thing, but according to this book, he loathed crosswords, and I don't really have an opinion on them, but now I'm going to read a book about them. The world's first crossword, Mr. Simon and Mr. Schuster. This is a great book. DEI Constructed, which is Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. Your no-nonsense guide to doing the work and doing it right. Lily Zhang. This is some new world order technocratic bullshit, but I did find that what's their names? Yeah. Thrift Books will pay me like $3.50 for this book. So I paid, I think, 95 cents for it. Well, I didn't pay anything for it because my mother bought it. As I spoke before. Was she at this store? Yeah, she was. Yeah, it's basically a brand new book. They'll pay me $3.50 for it, so it'll be $3.50 in credit I get for this egregious waste of paper. Actually, let's look inside her and see what this says. Data without experimentation. I could write an entire book on just telling story after story about the many different methodologies, tools, and techniques applied by DEI practitioners in the years since the business case was first developed. But in my opinion, the most interesting development in the last 40 years has been the relative lack of desire from the DEI industry to coalesce around the data at our disposal. Researchers painstakingly conducted post hoc analysis to measure the effectiveness of the Department of Defense's race relations training, which cost millions of dollars to implement, and yet I was unable to find any even remotely mainstream publication even mentioning that this work had ever happened, let alone that there was useful data from it. The same goes with encountering groups after multiple studies revealed mixed findings regarding encounter group, blah, blah. You can see it's awful. Even the writing of it is dry and awful. A Daughter of the Snows by Jack London. Fortunately, the book is coming apart at the binding, but that doesn't matter to me. I believe it says 1902, but that could just be the actual date. Published October 1902, but I think it may be later since it's a Grosset and Dunlap. Let me take a look at it. Although this kind of cover does scream 1902. Daughter of the Snows. I don't know anything about this story. Already, Miss Wells, though I'm sorry we can't spare one of the steamer's boats. Frona Wells arose with alacrity and came to the first officer's side. We're so busy, he explained, and gold rushes are such perishable freight. At least, I understand, she interrupted, and I, too, am behaving as though I were perishable. And I am sorry for the trouble I'm giving you, but, she turned quickly and pointed to the shore. Do you see that big log house between the clump of pines and the river? I was born there. Guess I'd be in a hurry myself, he muttered sympathetically as he piloted her along the crowded deck. Everybody was in everybody else's way, nor was there one who failed to proclaim it at the top of his lungs. 1,000 gold seekers were clamoring for the immediate landing of their outfits. Each hatchway gaped wide open, and from the lower depths the shrieking donkey engines were hurrying the misassorted outfits skyward. You always hope to find something in these old books, some kind of ephemera, but I didn't see anything in my first couple browsing through it except the cracked and broken spine and binding. That's all, bruv. That's all.